so much for meeting me today. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
And we've been chatting. How long have we been chatting now? About 6 months?
I think it's longer than that.
Longer than that? It might be longer than that. And I've never met you in person, but
No,
I just wanted to say to anyone that's watching, like, you are a top guy. Like, you're like the nicest guy I have
uh,
ever met. You just say the loveliest things all the time, and it makes me feel really nice. So I appreciate you being in my life. Thank you very much.
oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Likewise to you as well, Shona. Um, the positivity that you portray amongst your lives, everything, you're always there to help people. And what you're doing in terms of your own goals as well is phenomenal.
Oh, thank you very much.
Phenomenal. And being a teacher as well, it's honestly, I find it hard enough to do this homeschooling stuff. But there again, you're doing it from 9 till 5 or whatever, have you 9 to 3, 5, 7, even longer.
Yeah, but it's what I chose to do, so I got to do it right. You got to get through it. For
Absolutely.
those that don't know you, sorry, I've got a bit of a sore throat today. Could you tell everybody a bit about your property journey so far?
Yeah. So basically, my property journey started in uh, 2016, whereby I thought, you know what, I'm in IT, and I need to make a change. I'm getting quite bored of this kind of structure of work, rushing into the office, staying late. And I thought, how is it I can have a balance? Not even well, not to say that I don't get a balance, but I thought, what is it I can do to, follow my passion? Because being in property has always been my passion. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to start going to all these networking events and property meetups and get a feel as to what I want to do. How is it that I can get into property? Because as a newbie, as a starter, what there is always is that you need deposit. You need to raise an ample amount of deposit, £50,000 in London and so forth up north for if you want to purchase up north. And I was just the first one I went to was in London, and it was quite interesting really because there was quite a lot of people there when you're going there, and you feel it's quite a daunting event really, and atmosphere, because you're amongst all these property professionals who are all wizards, and you know um, the they're the Harry Potters of the property world. They know everything. They've got 15 buy to lets, and there you are. You're just thinking, okay, right, how do I start my property business? And then you get to speak with people, genuine people who are there to help you, because it's a lonely journey going by yourself, starting out by yourself in this uh, world of property. And so then you start networking, making contacts, and then you start researching even more. So then I thought, okay, right, well, I've got a vision as to what I want to do. Is it estate agency? And then I thought, well, what's all this rent to rent business? What does all this mean? And HMOs. I mean, I haven't got a clue about what all this is. So then you start researching a bit more. Luckily, I held back on paying for any expensive course at that time. And I thought, let me just research it myself by using, one of my great relatives, Uncle Google and Auntie Bing. So I thought I'll refer to them, see what answers they have. And so I started researching about how to get involved in property, how to managing it. Because there were a lot of talk about, okay, you can manage your own property, you don't need money down, but then it gets a bit more complicated than that. You've got to delve a lot more into it when people say no money down. So I thought I'd explore that a lot more. So I explored it. I needed to register my company. So I thought, okay, well, I've got to register a company, be compliant, ICO register, and then go forth then and start looking for deals. At that stage, I thought, okay, right, I'll go forward and start looking for deals, sending out DTV letters, direct to vendor letters. And then come 2019, amongst all that, I was building it up, getting knowledgeable, still learning as I am. And then 2018, I started telling my friends and families, okay, right, I'm going into property as well as doing my quality assurance and keeping my SIA job as well, the corporate security. And people say, okay, yeah, that's fine. And then I didn't get any bite from all the traction that I was doing, all the DTV. So I thought, okay, no problem. I understand that it can take quite some time for you to get any response because people don't know of you.
Mm.
And just building your rapport with people hopefully will get you somewhere. So come 2019, towards the end of 19, my friend's uncle, he called me. He said, "Oh, I understand that you're into property and that you can help people." And that's when I thought, "Oh, what do I do?" So he said, let's have a chat." I said, "Okay, that's fine." My friend said, "Yeah, my uncle's going to call you because he said that you're learning about getting into property and that you can help people." And I said, "Yeah, I'm still learning about it." But yeah, let's go for it. So he said to me, okay, right, we arranged a time and date for him to come and discuss his property issues. So went around there. And when I saw the property, I thought, okay, okay, right, this is going to be a challenge. And we viewed the property. It was in a complete state. The tenants there, they trashed the whole place. And I said to him, "So what is it you want to do?" And he goes, "I don't know. You ask. You tell me, Sagir." He said, "Look, you've seen the state of this place, and I just want you to deal with it." And when he said, "I want you to deal with it," you know that I don't know whether you have when you wake up in the morning and you're late for work, the fox in the headlights.
Right.
Yeah. So I just stood there and thought, "What? Oh my god."
Didn't know what to do.
No. So he said to me, he said, "Well, what is it you can do?" And I said, "Well, look, let me come back to you. I've seen the property. Let me run some numbers for you. Well, let me break down some numbers, and I'll give you a call back and relay those numbers to you." And they said, "Well, what is exactly you're going to do?" And I said, "Well, because we're in Article 4 and you haven't got a license, there's a way in which we can, I can help you with regards to monetizing your property for you." And they said, "What do you mean monetizing?" I said, "Making you money." And he went, "Oh, right, okay." Because this guy, he's got quite a few properties, but he's not savvy with how to monetize his portfolio.
Mhm.
All he does is that he's just been doing it on a single let,
Yeah.
just thinking, okay, right, that's how to make money. That's all I know. Just get a family in there, and that's it. They pay my mortgage, happy days. And then when he said, "Okay, well, how are you going to make me money?" I said, "Look, bear with me. Give me about a week. Let me run some figures down, and we'll have another meeting, and I'll run it through to you." And he goes, "Okay." And he goes, "Well, you're not going to sell my house, are you?" I said, "No, I'm not going to sell your house. I'm going to get tenants in there that are going to pay you money on a room by room basis." And he goes, "Oh," he goes, "But don't I need a license for that?" I said, "No, you don't need a license because we're only going to be putting 3 tenants in there." And I said, "If it was 4 tenants or more, then yeah, we would need to have a HMO license." And he goes, "Okay." So week after that, we had the meeting. And I said, "Okay, right, look, you've got 4 rooms here, potentially 4 rooms. We can make 4 rooms out of this. And 2 of the double rooms we can put at a certain figure." And he said, "Okay." So after that meeting, I said, "Okay, right, look, so taking into consideration the state of your property, it's going to need a refurbishment of at least £15,000. And he said, "Okay." And he said, and I said, "Look, I'll do that for you, providing that you give this property to me on a 2-year rent-free basis. And then because that within that period, that will allow me to recuperate all my money that I've invested in. And then basically after that, we'll put it onto a fixed 7-year rent-to-rent deal, whereby I still manage the property and you're getting your money month in, month out, and it'll be all happy days. And I'll be managing the property for you, and then with a potential of me actually purchasing it after that 7 years." So he said, "Okay, that's fine." He goes, "I'll leave it in your capable hands. if there's any problems, give me a call. I said, no problem. So we went away. I got my power team, the builders, in there, and then unfortunately we were in lockdown. March we started. So in November we started all the work, and then March we went into lockdown, and then we weren't allowed to work until April, I believe. And then April we started all the work, and that work finished in August. We've done everything. The builders were there every day, 7 days a week, bringing it up to a high standard, new kitchen, everything. Everything was new. I've shared the pictures with you, haven't I?
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah. And so there was a lot of problems, teething problems there. Builders not turning up. So we had to employ another firm of builders, compliant builders, builders who really wanted to get in and earn some money because of the current situation that everybody was still in. And that completed in August. Then we had to find tenants, but luckily I already had tenants who were already looking in the area. So I said, look, here's a property, come and view it. And they loved it ever since, working class tenants. And so that was my first rent-to-rent deal. And that spurred me on to do even more, to go and find even more. Mm-hmm. And then in 2020, October, I then decided, okay, right, what's the best way for me to actually have even more interaction and contact with landlords or people who generally have their gripes with their property? And I was thinking, look, I've been sending out all these DTV letters, going to networking events, and nobody's calling me. And I thought, if I was anybody else, they would have thought, you know what, this property journey is a load of nonsense, because people are telling you, oh, just send out DTV letters and that's it will come to you. And then you send out the DTV letters, you go out there, and then there's no response. It can be quite, disheartening and off-putting to anybody who wants to start their journey, because they see everybody else on social media doing this, and you go into many forums. Not that anybody's telling you to do wrong, but it's just the current climate. So it can have a negative effect on people. So I thought, you know what, I want to be able to have the leads myself, generate the inquiries, whereby I'm in a position where I can say, okay, but if this landlord, I can say to him, okay, but that he wants to give me his property to rent, and I can see the potential of it, I'm in a position to say, okay, that's no problem. I'll take it off you, landlord, and I'll help you monetize and look after the property for you. Or I can be in a position where I say, okay, right, look, if anybody's looking for that opportunity to do a rent-to-rent, I can negotiate with the landlord, say, look, I've got this client here who's very, very knowledgeable of how to do a HMO or rent-to-rent. I can pass it on. So that's why I started the self-employed estate agency route in 2020 as of October. And that's what I'm building now. So it's been quite interesting, really, because I'm getting more calls, I'm getting more contact, rather than going alone. Then just saying, okay, right, here's a DTV letter. Hi, I'm Sagir. I can help you with your property needs. And then they're going to think, well, who's this guy? I've never heard of him. But when you're saying that, okay, right, you do it in a completely different angle. You tell them about your story, what you've been doing, and then people start thinking, okay, well, yeah, look, this guy, he's set up his own estate agency, and he wants to help people generally. And that way you get the more attraction. And the way I'm building my business is organically, just doing it from ground upwards. Basically getting into my local area, which is Croydon, making contact with people, and just basically saying, look, this is what I can do, and I'm here to help anytime.
You'll do the direct to vendor letters, or you don't do those anymore?
No, I still do them. Always. You should always do them. Always do everything that you possibly can that you feel that's going to generate business for you. But I would never ever say don't give up on DTV letters. What I'm trying to say is that it can be quite disheartening if you don't get any response from it.
Yeah.
But my only a strong piece of advice is never give up. Just keep on doing it. If you don't find any traction from there, go on to another patch of your road. and
I
just start again.
direct to landlord letters before. I've done them 3 times, I think, and I think for every 100, I was getting like 3 responses, which apparently is quite good. You should expect 1 in every 100. Which people who haven't done it yet, they need to know that those are the kind of figures to expect. So, but then when I got the calls, I really wanted to help people, and similar to you, when you first got your first rent to rent, I didn't actually know how to help. I wanted to help them and I knew some stuff. I was listening to their problems. But a lot of people, they just wanted to sell for top dollar.
Yeah.
And I didn't have that. That wasn't the position I was in. And I couldn't sell it as a deal either because they wanted the top dollar for it. I suggested like a rent to rent or a lease option, something like that, and they weren't interested. So for me, I got a few leads, but then I couldn't transpire those into clients, if you know what I mean. I found that very difficult. And you mentioned on your first deal that part of your negotiation was that, how much was it again that you had to put into the property to do it up, did you say?
15,000, because it was just a state, Shona. You
Yeah.
saw the pictures. Feel free to share them on this. I was surprised as to how people would treat a property like that, just dismantle it,
Yeah.
not pay any rent. And I asked the landlord, I said to him, has anybody been living here? And he goes, yeah, they lived here and this is what they've done. And I said, so what happened? And he goes, I said, did you take it to court? How did you get rid of the tenants? He goes, they just left. I said, so, okay, so you got all your money? And he goes, no, they didn't pay any rent for 2 years.
Wow. And now you're not
Like,
going to pay him rent for 2 years either, but you're going to fix his property and he'll still get the capital growth, right?
well, yeah, exactly. I fixed I refurbished the property for him,
Yeah.
brought it to even better standards. So when we done the evaluation on it, it was 475. After when we done sorry, before the evaluation is 475. We just recently done the valuation in what was it, December, and it was valued at 625.
Wow. And you only spent 15 grand.
Yeah, 15,000.
That is amazing. What did you do for the 15 grand?
Everything, electricals, new to we fitted 2 bathrooms, one upstairs, one downstairs, new kitchen, carpet, cleaned the garden, landscaped it, and yeah, basically done everything to the house that needed doing. It was just basically a huge renovation project, and we done it to make sure that everything was compliant. All the electrics were done. There's smoke alarms in there. Everything. We wired it. Everything.
And I know that you said that you would look to possibly purchase the property in the future.
Yeah.
So one thing that not worries me, one thing that comes to mind is, if, like yourself, you take on a property as a rent to rent, you do it up, now it's worth the 6, whatever you said it's worth. Then if you do decide you want to buy it, wouldn't you have to then buy it at that new value that you've actually created? Or do you feel like you do have some negotiation power in there to get it cheaper because you've been looking after it?
Yeah. So basically, what I stressed, what I said to the landlord, I said to him, okay, well, if I have the option of, if you allow me the option of purchasing this property after the 7-year period or 5-year period, um, I will be happy to purchase it at this current market value, which was 475.
Right.
And I stipulated that in the contract. Now, the contract that we wrote up, it was done by a property lawyer who was very, very au fait and had a large amount of knowledge in doing purchase lease options. So another key aspect there is when you do decide to do the go down the purchase lease option, always ensure that you go to a property lawyer who's very, very quick with purchase lease options, who's knowledgeable of purchase lease options, not a conveyancing solicitor or a divorce or a general solicitor who only specializes in immigration or divorce or debt recovery, because they won't know what the actual contract is about.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Like,
brilliant that you've created a lease option out of it. I didn't realize. I thought it was still a rent to rent. So that's amazing.
yeah,
Well done. Can I ask, what Because me personally, I would be thinking, but it's going to go up in value over that time. So does the landlord know it will be worth a few more 100,000 in 7 years? Do they understand that? But they don't.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
I mean, well,
why
the
do
best.
they agree to it? That's what I want to know. Why do they agree?
Sorry, why did they agree to it?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes I think it's basically the reason why, from my knowledge and from what I've been listening to and what I saw from this landlord is that basically it's the lack of understanding, the lack of knowledge. People, what we find is with many like investors, fed up investors, and fed up landlords, is that they tend to not basically focus on what the end goal is. They think, okay, well, I've got this property. I'm really, really busy in my own personal life. I haven't been keeping up with the trends as to where the property market is, what's growing, what isn't growing, and basically, I think it's lack of knowledge. Really, some investors or some landlords are just too. They don't really know what they're doing with their own properties. They've had it for many years. They just, okay, well, I've got tenant in there, that's fine, but they don't really know. Okay, well, how much equity is building in their property,
Right.
or how much basically, what equity is. So the equity that they're building in their property, that's tax-free money. But they can use that, pull that out, and use that to purchase another property, buy gold, invest in something else, do
Yeah.
whatever they want.
Guys.
But when I explain to them, this is where we as property professionals or property consultants, whatever we want to call ourselves, um, is that we are there to basically help and educate the landlords. So basically, I said to him, okay, right, look, this is the property that we're working on now. So are you aware that when we complete this refurbishment on your house, it's going to gain equity? And he goes, okay, well, what do you mean? Am I going to get a raffle with some money on it? I said, no, it doesn't work like that. Like that.
You really
It's
don't
not.
understand.
I said, it's not postcode lottery. I said, where somebody's going to knock on your door and say, oh, here's a check. I said, it's going to gain equity through bricks and mortar. So over time, your house is going to gain money. So it's basically an asset for you. And he said, okay. He goes, well, why didn't I do that before? I said, because probably you wasn't au fait with it. You didn't understand how to release equity. And with all due respect, this landlord, he's not really um, educated in that sense. All he was told when from a young age is work hard, save up your deposit, buy a house, and just rent it out, and that's it. And unfortunately there still are some landlords out there who are following in that same trade. So explain to the landlord exactly what you're doing. Always be upfront with them and say to them, okay, right, this is a purchase lease option. This is what I'm going to do. Explain it to them, because so many people don't know what PLO is, or
No,
rent to rent.
it is
And I
quite
try not to
simple. Yeah.
use jargon like that when I'm meeting with new clients or vendors, or I try not to use property jargon. I just basically take just keep it real, basically, so that you're on par with them. Because when you start throwing out property jargon acronyms, they think, well, what are you going on about? So what's R2R? What's DTV? Or what's PLO?
Yeah.
HMO? Yeah, I've heard of that. It's it's a documentary that comes on Channel 5, isn't it? I say no, no, it's not. That's why I try not to. I used it once, and bless her, the poor lady said that's exactly what she said. She said, "Is there a gardening program that comes on that Channel 5 at 5 o'clock?" I said, "Not quite, not quite." So that's when I realised, you know what, I'm gonna I won't be using any property acronyms going forward.
Yeah, I guess when I've sent out letters before, I always assume that everybody who receives the letter or I talk to knows the same things I know, but they don't, do they? There are millions and millions of landlords that are just landlords, like you say, they just bought a property and they've done their best, or they haven't even tried their best sometimes. They've just rented it straight up. That's it. And you've already added between 150 to 200,000 onto that property. So that's, if you've got that on a lease option now, you've got that banked. That's your profit now that are guaranteed to make as a minimum later on.
Yeah.
That is amazing. And how do you Okay, you must have done some vague working out of what it might be worth in the 7 years, right? Or is it option you can buy it within 7 years, so you could buy it
Yeah,
early?
yeah. So basically, no, after that, after the 7 year period, that's when you say, okay, right, it's a rent to rent stroke PLO. So basically, after that 7 year period, I will then look at the situation and see, okay, right, is it still working? Are there still tenants in there? Yep, all good, well and good. And then after the 7 years, you then think, okay, right, do I want to either, I've got two options, either hand the keys back, or we can say, okay, right, Mr. Landlord or Mrs. Landlord, the time has come where basically the term has finished. What would you like to do? I can either purchase off you at that given price that we stated in the contract, or I can help you if you want to sell it, or if I don't want to sell it, if I don't want to purchase it, because that's what the key word here in the purchase lease option is, an option. I have that option of actually purchasing it. I'm not tied down to that contract. I can walk away, or I can say to the landlord, right, what I can do is I can sell this for you to another investor, um, at a convenient price for you, at a fixed price for you, at today's market price for you. So that way you're generating profit from it, and I'm generating some form of a. I've made my money from that 7 years, and then basically that's where we have the conversation with him and say, right, 7 years, I can either buy it at that price that we said in 2019, or I can sell it on for you.
In terms of because you said the property is a 4 bed, but you're only
Yeah.
renting out 3 of the rooms. So what's the other room? Is that like a utility space or?
Well, basically, it's just I was thinking of doing keeping that room as a service accommodation, but then I just realised it's just best to just keep it as a spare room. It's all it's got in there is just it's just an empty room at the moment, empty room. So I could either keep that as a spare office room, or just keep it vacant, a storeroom. At the moment in time, it's just a storeroom whereby people, some of the tenants have got extra furniture in there, but it's all labelled so that they don't keep their rooms too clogged up or too um, yeah, it keeps their room quite spacious in terms of if they got extra luggage that they want to put in there, label it up, and everybody knows that okay, well, I've got my stuff in that room. I just need to have gain access to the keys
Do
to
you
that room.
um long term, do you think it would be a good idea to utilize that spare room to make like additional like en suites, or because as a 4 bed house, that's where it's going to have the most value, you reckon, when you come to sell?
Yeah, potentially it would. Sorry.
When they come to sell or you sell, or when you
Yeah,
buy it later, the 4 bed is going to be worth more money than 3 bed with en suites, isn't it?
yeah, absolutely. Having a room with en suites is always the key. I've seen a lot of landlords doing that now. One landlord that I'm currently speaking with, he's purchased a house just not too far away from me, and he's converted that into a 7 bed HMO, all en suites, and um, I think that that will have no problem being let, because what landlords are trying to do now is that they've seen the potential and the demand for tenants who really, in this current climate, they're not too okay with sharing the communal, well, their toilets now. What
Mm.
they're really after is, okay, they want a room, and if there's additional ensuite in there, they're more willing to pay a little bit extra on top, because they've got that convenience of, okay, well, I don't have to go into the shared toilet or shared bathroom, keeping their mind, stress free, and they're willing to pay top dollar for that convenience, really, of having a ensuite. And I
Yeah.
think that's the way forward now, in terms of landlords developing their properties. They're looking to have ensuites in every room.
What about in terms of um so this is because it's only got 3 rooms, you said it doesn't need a license. um
Yeah.
would it be worth doing some additional work and then getting a license, or you've worked out the numbers and that doesn't work, it's not as viable?
Yeah, because basically, there can be a lot of problems with. I just thought that it'd be best to just keep it to a free. It's manageable. When you've taken a large property, you think, okay, right, I can add an extra room here. I can put a partition in there. It just becomes a bit more because this was my first project. I didn't want to take on too much and then thought, okay, you know what, I'm running into problems here, and then get the council involved. The council coming over. Oh yes, Mr. Raj, you've done this. Oh no, 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 this isn't right. Um, yeah, just basically causing more pain for than what is needed. So I thought I've got to take on this experience,
Mm-hmm.
and I've got to make sure that it's something that I'm comfortable running and managing. And if I was to do it at 4, I thought I could get into a few problems because I wasn't that experienced enough in order to do that. I knew how to get all the contracts. I knew what to say to the council, etc., and how to help the landlord. But I was just when I sat down and looked at it, I thought, you know what, this is probably going to take me a lot more than what's potentially required to do. And do I really want that stress at this being it my first project?
Mm.
Because that could potentially put you off this whole journey for life. You probably just think, you know what, no, well, no, sorry, I'm going to go back to my day job. Because you hear horror stories of people who take on, like, because they got so much energy and they get the first deal. They think, yeah, I've got my first deal, and they go and they go, well, I'm gonna do SA, I'm gonna do rent to rent, I'm gonna do HMO, and they start getting puzzled, and that's when it all goes wrong.
Trying to do too much.
That's it. So I just thought I'll keep it basic and know what I know, and just continue to learn and think, okay, well, how can I do the next one now when I do get the next one?
And in terms of, you've got other leads coming in now, so have you got a few that you're following up and that you're
Yeah, yeah, I've got quite a few. Uh, 1 minute. So, Yasin, can you just get my phone, please? My admin assistant's here. So.
How old's your admin assistant?
He's 6, 7 this year.
Excellent. Get him in the business young, eh?
That's it. You like to say hello? No?
Hello.
Hello.
That's his hand.
Right. You're now posted all over the internet. Nice to meet you.
That's
Nice to
Auntie
meet you
Shona.
too.
Oh, lovely. Are all the family up already? Yeah.
No, it's just my son. He's always up. I think it's saying timing in his school zone timing. So basically, he's always up every day. Like he said, when Dad gets home, he's already up,
Yeah.
and I'll take him to school and drop him off.
That is one of the things that amazes me about you, because you have so many jobs. Like, you work so hard to then be doing property stuff, because people think that I'm doing a lot, but you are doing more than me, like way more.
No, I'm not doing more than anybody. I'm just doing.
Respect.
No. I'm just doing what's basically I feel that I'm capable of doing. You just got to keep busy, really, Shona. And like I said, my only ethos in life is to give back. That's the only reason as to why I'm doing this property journey, because I thought when I was when I'm working in my full-time jobs, I think, you know what, there's so much that you can't really do much in order to help people when you're just solely confined to just one income. And so I thought that there's a lot of people that I genuinely need to help. And by me working, I thought, look, my hands are a bit tight, so I need to have an additional income whereby I'm putting that to good use. I can help a lot more people. Because you see, homelessness is one of my things I'm so passionate about and really, really want to change. And so I thought, how is it that can help people who are going through such bad times, when you're hearing horror stories of people who can't find a place to live, who don't have that help and support. So I thought property is the only way in which you can get into that. You can genuinely help people. So in order for me to do this, I've got to do this properly now and think, okay, well, the money, the income that I'm getting from this is going to be put into good use, and it can go towards more, helping more and more people, and just basically giving them a better future than what they already have. So on Friday, when I went out to what I always do Mondays and Fridays, it was a good turnout because there were a lot of people that were coming for the food, and then we deliver as well. We let people come, and then we have specific people that who contact us through our groups. Say, okay, look, is there any food, etc., and we go and deliver that to them, so they don't have to come out, etc. But in terms of me working, I just that's basically my ethics, Shona. Just basically do what I can. It's not about us. It's about reaching out to people who are less fortunate than us, and doing what's right.
When I post this video, you'll have to send me all the links to those things so I can post it so that people know how to get in touch to help out with that and stuff.
Yeah. No problem. I'll post those links as well, and I'll post.
I was just
I'll
thinking.
send you the photos.
Yeah, cool. I don't know if I can put them on YouTube, but we can put them on the Facebook group. That's fine.
Yeah.
As your estate agency now, I guess what's quite niche is that you are a HMO agent, really, and not every estate agent will do HMOs. So that must make it easier as well to.
Yeah, it's basically informing, like when you do have contact with landlords, it's best try and it's always best to not come across as a typical estate agent. Listen to their pains, listen to what they're actually going through, build a relationship with them. Then just when they say, okay, well, I've got a property that I want to sell, your mind shouldn't be thinking, okay, well, okay, how much is it going to be worth? How much is my commission? It's about learning that grief, that pain that their landlord is going through. Ask the questions. Ask about how they're feeling in this current climate. Ask about their family.
Yeah.
Ask about what's important to them.
Yeah.
And then basically, when you gain that understanding for them, you're building that relationship. Then you then say, okay, well, look, this is what I've done for a past client, and this is potentially how I can help you. So then they think, okay, well, I feel comfortable with this guy. He he knows what he's talking about. He's got experience of doing it. So yeah, I feel comfortable with it. And then basically just build that relationship with them, and then that's how you're gonna build your business. Really, it's all about nurturing that business, nurturing that clientele that you've got,
Yeah.
keeping in contact with them, following up a call, even if they don't pass you business. It's always nice to give them a call and say, "How are you?" Just checking in on you, welfare check. How
Yeah.
many these days? I mean, your experience with your estate agent. When was the last time that they called you and said, "Hi, Shona, how are you?"
Oh
Just
yeah,
to check.
they don't do that.
Oh, I do. I do.
I bet you do. I believe you. I know that you will. You always check in on me. If I haven't contacted you within a week, you'll message me and be like, just checking in. You okay? Have you been eating properly? Like my
But
dad.
it's how it should be, really, isn't it?
It's nice. It is nice to know that there are people that care. In terms of your helping the homeless, have you started any discussions with the council perhaps to see how they could support you with your goals?
Well, with Croydon Council, not yet, because I think that they're still trying to work out how they're going to generate money because they're bankrupt.
Oh,
Um,
yes, I heard that. Sorry.
yeah, so
But maybe you
I
could
don't
help
think
them do both, make money and
potentially, yeah,
house the homeless.
that's it. Potentially, yes. I've just got to structure a time with them and basically get in contact with the housing officer at Croydon Council. But when I have been trying to contact them, there's no answer. That
Yeah.
could be just barely because of that staff have been unfortunately being made redundant, um, or that there's basically they're all working from home. But I think that I'll contact the Lambeth Council and see what they have to say and how basically what advice they can offer me in terms of that.
Mm.
Um, but yes, that's something that I really need to crack on now because it's extremely close to my heart, and I just at this moment in time I just continue doing what I'm doing and building a network, and then saying, okay, right, how do we tackle this problem? How do we make contact with the right type of people in the councils who can basically lead us to say, give us some leads in terms of empty houses that we can potentially take, that they know that there's been sitting empty for many years. Because what the council won't tell you, they won't say, yeah, we've got a list of these properties. You've got to get in there, make relationships, phone calls here, and say, right, look, this is what we can do for you. How about you tell us where these properties are, and we can bring it back to the community. Yeah. And when you tell them, okay, well, look, this is for the community, I'm sure that they will be more than happy to say, right, yeah, okay, look, let's help these people. They're putting it to a good cause, rather than those empty houses being turned into flats, knocked down and turned into flats, whereby it's not really helping the immediate cause. You falling asleep?
No, I'm not asleep. I'm listening because we're on a slight delay. So every time I start talking, you're still talking, and then I'm like, "Oh, be quiet." So I'm waiting a while.
Why is it delaying? Why is it delaying? Because that's not gonna look good.
No, it's fine. It's fine. People knows what I'm like. It's real. It's just this is how it
is. I'm saying, how comes it's delay?
I don't, maybe it's not delaying, but there were a few times I started to talk and you were talking and I thought, oh, I look rude because I'm interrupting you. So I was like, let me just talk for a really long time to make sure that you are finished. And now I know, now we're having this really awkward conversation and this is all going to be posted on the video.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
So, what I wanted to ask, my last question for you basically is, if somebody is interested in getting into property and they don't know where to start, what would be your big bit of advice of what they should do?
Take a deep breath and research what you want to do in property, research what property is all about. And once that's all made sense of what direction you want to go into, reach out to people in your local group. Network, go to network events, learn from people like Shona does. She's gone to network events, she's putting all this plan, she's putting all the interaction step by step. Network, learn, read, take it all in, enjoy it, embrace it, be happy, and have a goal in mind. Don't think, try not to get too attracted to the rent to rent, the HMO, the service accommodation. Just think, okay, right, whenever you see a house, you think, okay, when you walk past a house on the street, you think, okay, well, that looks a nice house. What could I potentially do with that? Or what would be my strategy going forward? Just take your time in this journey. Don't rush ahead. Think about how you're going to be compliant, what you need to get set up in. If you want to go as a sole trader or a limited partnership, think about those avenues, because there's so much to get in to start on. When somebody says, okay, well, I want to go into property, all that they're thinking is saying, okay, right, well, I need to find a house and I need to get tenants in there and they're going to make me money, and then that's it. Take your time, breathe, read, focus, learn from people, ask loads of questions in your group, and just enjoy it. Take your time. It's not a rush.
Not a rush. How can people get in contact with you?
Shout, and I'll hear you.
Shout.
Call me.
Is Facebook or
Facebook,
website?
Mobile number, I'll give you my mobile now. If you have a pen, 07974 053 053. Available 24/7, 365, anytime.
You are actually up. Or you made a joke earlier about how you're asleep because it is early in the morning on a Sunday. Oh, you don't sleep, Siggy. I know you don't sleep. You sleep 2 hours a day. That's it.
I do sleep in between travel and, well, commuting when I am, and we will catch up with it. When we've got goals and the visions, that's the thing that keeps us going. And we think, okay, when that's all done, then we'll have time to sleep.
I'm tired, so I don't know how you're not tired, Siggy. Like I said, you're doing more than I am, and I'm tired.
Well, I've got a question for you, Shona.
Oh, go on then.
What are you having for dinner today?
Dinner. I haven't planned dinner at all. I was thinking of having a roast. It is Sunday, but we don't really eat meat in our house because my girlfriend's vegetarian. So we have
Awesome.
a roast with all the veg and stuffing with no meat. But I really like that. Roast potatoes are one of my favorite. They're not the most nutritious thing to eat. And carrots. I love carrots.
Yeah, I like carrots. I
Um,
like roast potatoes.
is that all right? Am I allowed to have that? Is that a good enough answer, Dad?
Dad? Dad? Is your dad there?
I thought you were going to say no, Shona. You need to make sure you're getting your vitamins and your blah blah blah. Yeah.
Well,
But
as long as you're eating, that's the main thing.
I'm eating. What are you having for dinner?
um, I haven't yet quite thought about that one.
Do you cook at home?
I try. Well, I'm learning.
You're
I'm
learning.
learning.
That's a no. That was a polite way of saying no.
No. There's when you ask that question, can you cook? Some people say yes or no. So I'm in between. I'm not saying no. I'm saying I'm learning.
Okay. Do you cook? So do you cook the dinners at home?
No.
No. See,
I'm
that's
still
what I
learning.
was getting at. Yeah. But you do have like 3 or 4 jobs, so you know. You're
Well,
busy.
in between my time, I can make a wonderful toast.
Ah, I love toast. What do you have on your
Yeah.
toasts again?
What do I have on my toast? Sometimes honey, sometimes just normal butter, president butter, um, and that's it basically, or one boiled egg.
I love toast made with fresh tiger loaf, like a fresh
Tiger loaf.
or a fresh bread that's got sesame seeds on it. I love that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
My son likes that.
Yeah, it's
He
good.
likes sesame seeds.
Cool.
Tell me a joke before. Tell me a joke before you say that's it.
A
Bye
joke.
bye. Yeah, joke.
I'm not funny. I'm not funny at
If
all.
you are.
Yeah,
If you
but
are.
like I'm funny like off the cuff, whatever we're talking about, I'll crack a joke. An actual joke. The only joke I know I learned in primary school, right? So this is not going to be funny at all, but are you ready?
Yep.
Why did the little boy eat his money? Long pause.
Why did the little boy eat his money?
Yeah, you're going to think about this long and hard, isn't it? Remember, I was in primary school when I learnt this joke. It's my only
Yeah.
joke.
Why did the little boy eat his money? Because he wanted to be a bank manager.
I mean, no. Maybe he wanted to be a property. No, I don't know. He was a way to invest it. No, the answer is the little boy ate his money because it was his dinner money. That's the only joke I got. Yeah, only one I got. It was a rubbish joke.
Brilliant.
Because he didn't want his money.
Oh, because he didn't. My son said because he didn't want his money.
Didn't want. Do you know what that same thing happened when I tried to teach my daughter what jokes were? Because she comes home to me, she goes, "Oh yeah, there was this man in a school, and there was a girl named Lucy and a boy named Bob, and somebody was murdered." And it's always like, "Who murdered him?" And I'm like, "I don't know. You haven't told me enough of the story." She goes, "Okay, let me start again. There was a girl named Lucy and a boy named Bob, but nothing happens in the story. She just wants me to guess who the murderer is, and that's part of the joke, but I don't get it. But I can't tell jokes myself, so it's my fault. I didn't teach her."
Yeah. No, that's a good one. And that was at primary school. And you still remember that?
It's the only one I got. Maybe you can teach me. We'll have another video call. We'll do another interview where you can do a comedy sketch show. How does that sound?
That sounds awesome. That sounds awesome. Comedy sketch show. Yes, I'm down for that.
Yeah. Job number 5. Comedian. All right. Cool. Are you coming? Are you able to come to the networking later? Or are you busy?
No, I'm sleeping.
You're sleeping. Do you know what? You probably are sleeping.
No, of course I am. I'll be there.
You're so sarcastic again.
I'll be there. I'll be there.
Be there. All right then, darling. I will see you at 5 o'clock. Have a lovely jubbly evening.
You too.
It's only in the morning. Have a lovely day. See you later.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Shona.
See you
You're
later.
doing great.
So are you, mate. So are you. Bye.
Take care. All the best.